What's up guys, it's Corbin Stuckey of Pixel Talk here. I'm sorry I haven't made a video in a while. I've actually been in the process of moving into this new house. I moved here with 3 other YouTubers. We're going to be making skits in the next coming weeks. And I decided that I was going to be doing a review tonight on Death Note, the new live action movie on Netflix. Yeah, that's a thing. So since I've heard about this new live action Death Note movie, I've been actually pretty, I don't want to say excited, but I've been pretty, positive about it because I liked the original anime. I've seen all the episodes, and I was really wanting to see what they could do with this, especially with Adam Wingard attached. Adam Wingard has done Your Next, he's done The Guest, he's done the new Blair Witch movie, so he's actually a really good director when it comes to horror kind of stuff. And when I heard that he was a part of this, I was really excited to see what he was bringing to the Death Note franchise, especially since you have this really good source material. The anime is actually really good. I really like what they did. Not so much the last season, but everything else before that was really good. Really good characters, really good just people to follow in this anime. Light Turner. Oh god, this movie's ruined me in terms of names now. I'm saying the names in American ways. Light Yagami is a really good antagonist to follow because he's just like this really secluded character, but when you go into his mind, it's like, oh my god, you're an evil human being. I also love L. I think L is one of the most interesting anime characters out there. Detective, very good at his job. And I was just wanting to see what they could do in this live action interpretation of Death Note. I watched it tonight, and here are my thoughts. Oh my god. Okay, so if you were to go into this movie, I don't know, if you were to go into this not really a Death Note fan, you'll probably be fine. It's harmless. I mean, there are kind of a little bit of plot holes here and there and questionable things that the characters do. But if you were just at home on Netflix and you found this and you didn't really know what Death Note was, you'd probably be fine. But if you're a Death Note fan, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to make you angry. And I was very positive as a Death Note fan to watch this. I knew from the start that there was going to be a lot of differences. This is an American adaptation, but it looked really interesting for the most part. And Adam Wingard was attached to it, so that's another thing that I was just really, happy to hear was his involvement. And I kept thinking of the anime in my head as I was watching this. There's a lot of source material in the original anime. It practically gives you a whole lot of stuff to go on in terms of certain rules, the Death Note itself, the idea of Shinigamis living in our world. It's a very interesting concept, and when given this kind of, source material, you have a lot to go on. You have, a really interesting world. Sadly, I don't think that they were very creative with this movie at all, really. I think they just decided to take this concept, not broaden it out a whole lot, and they decided to make kind of this high school American-oriented movie. Yeah, that's what exactly they did here. Let's start with the positives real quick. I think Willem Dafoe as Ryuk, the Shinigami, the Death God, perfect casting. And the look, it looks amazing in this movie. For a Netflix movie, it looks really good. I think they did a good job with casting Willem Dafoe in this role, and they got Ryuk so right in this movie. If anything else, this is perfect casting. Everything else, besides maybe L, surprisingly, everything else is really bad casting. Let's talk about Light Turner real quick. I just didn't see this character as Light whatsoever. In the anime, Light is a very intelligent kid. He's very intelligent, gets a hold of this Death Note, and he is very smart about using it. Before he gets the Death Note, he's a very well-respected student. He's doing really good in school. He wants to become a detective someday like his father, and he's just a really smart human being. But in this movie, I just didn't feel like I was seeing the same person in terms of intelligence whatsoever. I felt like I was watching a very angsty teenager, and there are a couple scenes where he's doing people's math homework and stuff, but that's just him really smart. In terms of like, you know, using his head and like getting away with certain things, that's not really apparent in this movie whatsoever. In the anime, he is very secretive about this death note. He takes very serious precautions to make sure that nobody knows that he has this death note. And if someone finds out or if someone's onto him, he will kill them. Like, that's just his character. He's very smart. He is very precautious in the show, and he is willing to go through any means to keep the death note a secret and him having the death note a secret. But in this movie, not even a day goes by, he tells someone that he has a death note. He tells the girl at his school, Mia, hey, you gotta check this out. I have a death note. This is what I did with it. I killed someone. You just told someone that you killed somebody. Yeah, this Light Turner is not very smart whatsoever. He is not the Light in the original anime. This guy is just, he likes a girl and he's just like, oh, hey, check this out. I killed this bully. Like, dude, what the hell? The character in the movie just doesn't seem that smart whatsoever. I feel as though it was just literally a high school kid who got his hands on a death note and was using it. He just went online, searched a lot of different criminals in, you know, live broadcasts and started killing criminals. At least Light Yagami in the anime was very smart about it, and he had an agenda. He wanted to be this god of the new world. Like, I will say, for the movie itself, they actually they changed some stuff a little bit. They showcased that he lost his mom due to a criminal. So that was some really good background in terms of why he wanted to kill criminals. In the show, it's just like, oh, like, you know, I don't really like life, and I'm just going to kill criminals. At least in the movie, they gave him some reasoning behind that. They gave him a good enough reason to go after criminals because, you know, his mom was killed by one, so I thought that was, you know, some character development, but at the same time, it's like, okay, also, you're killing someone that's, you know, kind of affecting your personal life. So that's going to come back to you. If you kill someone that is affiliated with your mother's death, then a detective will look into that, especially Elle, out of all people, and be like, oh, okay, so this guy died. He killed his mom. I'm going to go after Light Turner. So it's just like, the Light is not smart in this whatsoever. His deductive reasoning in this movie, the deductive reasoning in the anime is spot on, and it's just, he's a very, very smart human being. But in the movie, it doesn't seem that he has really good deductive reasoning skills whatsoever. Let's talk about Elle real quick. I thought Elle was pretty accurate for the most part in the beginning. He has the same kind of quirks as he does in the anime, where like he stands on furniture and chairs and he's eating candy. He has like all these different quirks because it helps him like focus. But when you see it in the live action movie, it's kind of funny. There's even a scene where like he rushes into a room and he stands on a chair staring down at Light, and it's like, it's kind of funny. It's like, how am I supposed to take it seriously? Like, I get it, they wanted to be faithful to the character because Elle is such a serious character to portray. He's like one of the most like notable anime characters out there. I can't take it seriously though on the big screen. I really can't. It was very hard to like not snicker at some of the things that he did, especially when he grabs candy from a jar. It just doesn't work in live action. He's a good anime character. I just don't think he's a good live action character because you're going to snicker at some of the stuff that he does. But also, his character takes like a total left turn during the ending of the movie. He gets like all upset and angry, and he's like driving a cop car, and he like almost like gets in car accidents and kills civilians. It's like, dude, you are suddenly not Elle anymore. What are you doing? It was very similar, like, because the same actor is in Get Out, where he's the guy who's like, get out! And it's very similar to that, where he has a freak out moment, and I'm just like, holy shit, like, this is not your character whatsoever. They also changed some of the rules from the anime. I don't know why they did. Like I said, they were given the source material, and they changed up the rules. I understand that you have to make some changes, but it was like really little changes that would have made the story more interesting if they kept the original rules in the movie. Like, for example, in the anime, if you touch the Death Note, you can see the Shinigami. You can see Ryuk. That's how, like, you know, other people can see these Shinigamis in our world, is if you touch the Death Note. That's how Light is able to see Ryuk. But in the movie, if someone else touches the Death Note, they can't see a Shinigami because the book was given to Light. And because the book was given to Light, he's the only one that can see Ryuk. So if you touch the Death Note, you still can't see Ryuk. So that was something that I just was like, why did you guys change that? That's really weird. Also, another thing that really bothered me in the movie was this one rule that they added where you can only manipulate someone before their death 2 days prior to their death. So basically, you can make someone do whatever you want 2 days before their death. Light could, like, predetermine someone's death, like, weeks in advance. Like, he could write all this stuff down in the, like, Death Note in the anime. So it helped him out a lot, because if he did that, and if he was, like, being surveillance, like, in his room, like, people, especially L, would be wondering, like, how is he, like, you know, killing these people if he's, like, in his, like, you know, living room and stuff like that. So that was, like, a really cool story element that they added in the anime. But they decided to go with the 2-day route, and it kind of complicated things, I feel. They just, like, changed the rules a lot, I feel. And I feel like they didn't need to do that whatsoever. I feel as though they could have just kept the original rules, and they could have come up with a better story. And it just made things a little bit more complicated than they needed to be. Another thing that I will say, and I've already talked about this, Light's deductive reasoning skills are really bad. There is a choice that he needs to make in the movie to showcase that he is not Kira, and this is definitely a choice that would have been pretty obvious for him to do in the anime, and I believe he did somewhat do that, but he doesn't do it in the movie because, like, you know, he isn't the Light that we know from the anime, and L is immediately able to determine, like, okay, you are definitely Kira because you didn't perform this task. So that's another thing that I just didn't really like about the movie, was it's just not accurate to the character. The character would have done a different decision or went around it. He would have had a loophole or something. But because he didn't go through with this certain thing in the movie, L is able to, like, determine, like, okay, you are Kira. And another thing I will say, in the anime, even though L had suspicions that, you know, Light was Kira, they still kind of worked together. Like, they were able to coincide with one another. But in this, L immediately accuses Light that he is Kira, and there's just not that character interaction that we really enjoyed from the anime. It's just these two guys arguing, I'm not Kira, no, you're definitely Kira, no, I'm not Kira. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not there. That was one of the best parts of the anime, was the character interactions. But it's not there because L immediately assumes that Light is Kira. Another part that I didn't really like, I saw where they were going with this. There's, like, an ex machina scene at the end involving, like, a restaurant clerk or employee. It was just way too convenient. Like I said, guys, this is, like, if you have not watched Death Note, you'll probably watch this and be like, okay, it's fine, this is cool, I could probably watch this with my girlfriend. But if you're a Death Note fan, you're not going to like this, because they changed up the characters a lot, especially Light. Light's just not as intelligent as he was in the anime. He's just a punk-ass kid with the Death Note. L is fine in the beginning, just loses his shit at the end. I will say that the redeeming quality of this movie is Ryuk. Ryuk is awesome in this. Willem Dafoe, good job. So yes, guys, that was my review of the live-action interpretation of Death Note for 2017. Comment down below what you thought of this movie if you've seen it yet. Like the video, share it, and please subscribe to Pixel Talk if you haven't yet for more movie reviews, trailer reactions, and gaming content. Thank you guys so much. I'm Corbin Stuckey, and this is Pixel Talk.